Hello. 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 Um. Um. Okay. Wow. I know people probably were getting used to me streaming earlier in the day, like 11 o'clock in the morning. And then by now it would have been like, I gotta take a break for lunch. Actually, no, it would have been about 1 o'clock. And then after that, I would have had lunch. And then about 30 minutes to an hour later, I would be like, all right, I gotta end stream now. Taking cough meds that are definitely gonna make me drowsy, but here we are. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this guy in game who is like really cute. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is it not showing up? This is a crime. Roger. Hi, Ian. Also, I put on one song earlier and I've just let it run. So I've had a lot of female artists I've been listening to, most of which I know. But in particular, there's one that I was like, hell yeah, and it was Victoria Monet because I love her. I absolutely adore her. But like the new Ariana album has been kind of playing at the same time, even though I added it to my liked songs. Or I okay, so how do I explain this? I have a bad habit of when I want to listen to an album, I'll add it to my saved like liked songs or whatever. Like I'll save the album, but I won't listen to it immediately. I won't listen to it immediately. I'll wait, and then one night I'm like, you know what? I think it's time. It's like subconsciously I'm waiting for the hype to die down, and then I listen to it. I don't know. I'm that's my guess for myself. I don't know exactly why. It's just it happens. It happens. Hi Yin. Hello everyone. It's been 2 days. We were supposed to stream Monday, but I was entirely too tired. And then yesterday, I had an urgent care appointment with um the place I normally go for my doctor's appointments. Anyways, so that was scheduled like Monday. They're like, "Can you come in the next day?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Totally forgetting that I had medicine that was being delivered to the house and other things. And I was just like, well, what can I do? What can I say? I'm dumb. And then I forgot everything I was supposed to take today. Like in the morning, I was supposed to take this antibiotic they want me to take. I haven't forgot my cough medicine, so hopefully I don't cough like a banshee during stream today. What else? Hopefully I don't sound like ass. I'm still kind of congested. Kinda. But I feel okay. Might be drowsy soon. Who knows? We'll see. But hi, hello. We are back. We are back. Last month, y'all were crazy. And I know why y'all were crazy, but I still appreciate it nonetheless because there are a lot of people who wanted to know when I streamed so they can get their mounts for 14. And I happily obliged while recovering from sickness. so that y'all could get that. Um, so I'm happy y'all chose here. Y'all could have chose anywhere else to drop 3 subs and sub, but you chose here, so that's pretty dope. Thank you. It goes until August 25th. What a song to enter to. Yes. I forgot what song I put on that started this whole thing, and I just let it run. I just let it run. Then I've been adding it to my chill playlist. I've been adding it all to my chill playlist. Let me invite you to a party, by the way. Chill stream, but I don't know what the last song was. I went to the wrong thing. Oh, it's Kiss Me by Ariana Grande. I think that's her new album. And then Janet Jackson came on as I started stream. I was like, oh. Brand New Chanel came on. Better Than She Can. Oh my god, there's so much. Gaga came on earlier too. There's a song a friend of mine used to have in their status, and it was Vanish Into You by Lady Gaga. And I never really listened to it before. Not until I met them and looked at their status enough to where I just queued it up on Spotify. And I was like, you know what? This song is kind of a banger and sad at the same time. Yes. I be singing along to it. I really do be singing along to it. Just, it's a good song. I don't know what to say. All right, we're going to North Horn again. It is I am 4 levels, I think. 4. I forgot. You got to do it from here. Yeah, I think I'm 4 levels off from. I'm at the same amount of levels that you're at, Parrish. When. Wait, no, 6. Never mind. 6 levels off. You were 6 levels off before you hit 40. For the record, Parrish has been grinding out North Horn like no one. People are dead. Why are people dead? Why are they dead? Why are they? Why are they dead? Oh, okay, okay. You're gonna die with them? You're gonna die into them? Are you gonna? All right, let's go into North Horn. I was just curious. That's all. You know, I was just curious. Okay, I can't hit that note. Never mind. I tried. Everyone listening just like had a heart attack. Their names were written in the death note, you know, but they had no cause of death there, so just heart attack. What's the last one? Bard, right? Where's my Bard? Oh yeah, Bard got moved all the way over there. Jesus Christ. There's Dancer. I have to get used to the new timing, like the new stuff. It's so weird. That is, oh, that's at 0%. Oh yeah, thank you. Sorry, I'm weird. I do be weird like that. I forgot where the thing was, by the way. Oh, it's all the way over there. I'm going to that fate. Yeah, you're level 40. I'm level 36. No, I was right. 4. That's right. Cool. I don't know why I thought it was more. Hello, Steven. Never mind. Fuck that fate. I'm going to the CE. It's actually not too far from where I'm at. Crazy enough. I am surviving. I hope your day has been well. It's been going great. Norm, you could have easily just returned and gone back. I'm stubborn, but I will do that. Gotta change my chat input. Excuse me. Oh my god. The other day I had to. Whoa, Lena, hello. Whoa, what the heck? What the hey? What the hey? Not this guy. Oh wow, damn, that's crazy. That's not. Hello, everybody from Lena's. For those who do not know who I am The Norm. That's it. The Norm. I'm changing my name, rebranding to The Norm. Of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with Pookie. That is Parrish. That is Pookie. Them bun, wait a minute. I am only bun right now because he is bun. Look at him, he's so cute. He's adorable. God, I just want to pet him. Anyways, that's crazy. That is wild. Oh wait, hold on. He's there. There he goes. There. Oh, look at. He's so cute. So cute. That's. But yes, I play Final Fantasy 14. Almost said Overwatch. I might as well be playing Overwatch. Marvel Rivals and Once Human. I've started playing Pal World recently, not on stream, but I've been playing Pal World during my like downtime. It's really fun. It's really fun. I think I'm up to the point where I can almost make glass on like a solo run. I'm up to that point. I think that's been fun. I also play World of Warcraft. Carry you through raids? I can't even carry myself through raids. That to me, that's crazy. That's so wild and crazy. Chat, this is so crazy. Can we get 3 gifted subs? Oh, he turned into Cerberus. Is it out? Oh, it is out. Wait, did I get hit by that? How? How, Sway? Ooh, champ. Me trying to get out of the way. Yes, Parrish and I are playing together. I told him I wanted to try to hit level 40 in Northbourne, and he was like, I can join you. I was like, yay. Because I am severely behind, and I don't play this like that much. Well, I don't do Northbourne that much. I do like maybe 30 minutes to an hour in Northbourne, and that's it. It's for every Fim. That's the Femboy character on stream. That's so wild. There's a lot. You can't see it. That's all. There's a lot. Your favorite horny couple? That's so fun. I'm crying. Just can't see it. That's all. Is that out? I think that's no, that's in. Oh, I hate this. Ah! I hate this mechanic so much. Excuse me, I gotta put this shield on myself. Does she get? No, I don't know which way to go. Is it here? It's here. Yeah, I thought about either Rivals or this today, and I was like, I really want to get the 40 so I can do Fork Tower and such. So I picked this. I wanted to pick Rivals because the hood is coming out. And he's voiced. He is okay. I'm such a wrestling nerd, but he's voiced by Damian Priest, and I'm like, ah! I'm screaming. I didn't even hear it at first until like one of my friends pointed it out. Oh my god, I forgot it's out. Wow, how did I... Why do I hurt? I'm gonna go over here. I forgot where the... Oh my god! I was in the right spot. Oh, that's wild. Almost went too early. I haven't been on Rivals in a while either, and I think it's just because new content here dropped. I've been playing Pal World. I think I jumped on one night and that was it. Oh yeah, of course. I would let you know. Just a lot of different games. I've been wanting to hop back on. Wait, can I? How am I hurting myself? In game, in game, in game, in game. Yay! We get shields anyways. Where's the next thing up? Not that one. Oh, that's at 43%. Whoa! Dino, thank you for the 3. Enjoy unicorn mount. Oh my god, Lena got one. It's her birthday week. Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that? I can't cancel him out of that. He would murder me in cold blood. That's almost done. How long till pots? I do want to get a pots in. How much time is left on our buffs? 20 minutes. 13 minutes north. Okay. 13 minutes. I'm trying to think. North is this one, right? Yeah, north. Because the south one is like somewhere around here, if I remember. Me having to remember locations. It's south. Okay, okay, okay. That's okay. I don't know if I'm gonna make it there in time. Oh wait, it's that one. Ew. Oh, it just started. Oh man, we're fine. We're Gucci. I don't know what song this is. I am oblivious. I actually don't know what's gonna even play. Oh, that's oh. I got my fucking butthole reamed. I got paralyzed. Where's this one at? Oh, that's close to base. I can just drive back up there. 13 minutes. So... Okay, he's not gonna attack me. Would I be able to do this one and then go to pots after? I'm still feeling some of the remnants of that cold though. But I don't feel it. Kinda. I don't feel it. Oh my god. I said that and then I ran into a wall. Is this math? Did I time you? Okay. Yippee. If people need Northhorn stuff, they can come through Fatty. Fatty. Oh my god, are you on a bird? You're on the bird. You're on that bird that squeals during Southhorn. Look at that bird. It's naked. Naked bird. Why are you naked? Put some clothes on. Disgusting. You gotta cover the bits. Hold on. Hold on. You gotta cover the bits. There we go. Can't see the bits. What did they do? What are they doing? Girl, what is you doing? I realized I never did this. My bad. Pocket healing. What else have I been doing? Well, I've been sick. Yeah, mainly Pal World. Pal World is so funny to me because the amount of pals that are in there and the way they just randomly attack things is so fun. Like there's this one pal that when I started flying, they're like not so fast, and fired upon my bird, and I was like, excuse me, rude, number one. Number two, die. Oh no. I haven't done that yet. I have accidentally gone to a very high level area and almost got one shot. Like one of them got one shot. Oh, okay. My knowledge level has been altered. I'm the same level as, not really. He's 2 levels above me. So which one is which? Knowledge level. Okay, you know what? I'll stay over here. I feel like either one is fine, right? Wait, no, I'm dumb. I should have been on the other side. I forgot I was at 40. Wow, people are really fast on that, by the way. People are so fast on that. Hello? Oh, I don't have enough. I died to that. Okay, you're really fast on that too. Holy. Oh, you heal more than I do. Is it still altered for that? It's still prime. What is this one? Oh, 4, 3, 5. I think I'm fine right here, right? Yeah. Me having to heal myself, but I can't heal myself that much. What if I just did this into this? So smart. Oh my god, that's death. Have that. I don't know if that actually reached you. Did it? I'm the one hemorrhaging here. Oh no. Also, yes, for the 14 support streamer campaign, it's forgive me, it's you can sub and gift 2 subs, or you can give 3 subs. What? My level? Oh, there we go. Take that. And that. And that. Oh my god. Oh my god, we're so shielded. I don't think that really did anything, at least for me. Haha. Prime. I was like, I don't think I made that, but I did. So I'll take it. Wow, your shield went up so much. I said, forget me, you're protected. He's dropping knowledge. Chat, did you know he's dropping knowledge? Not both of us going over here. What the hell? Why didn't it let me? Oh, am I really that out of? I am. Oh my god. kind of wild. He dies before this. Yay. Critical analysis. Nice. This feels so slow. I don't know why. It feels so... Oh, you said south, right? So it's like... It's this one over here. I ain't scared of no ghosts. By ghosts, I mean I'm not scared of jumping off the... I'm not afraid. Take a stand. Everybody. Just take my hand. Pal World is so fun though. I really do like it. I keep talking about it because I really enjoy it. I thought about streaming it once. I really did think about streaming it once. But I don't... Oh, wait. I had a... Why do I have Battle High? This is north? I thought this was south. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I missed it. I swear I thought this was south. I forgot the coordinates for both. Or at least I thought I missed it. I was ready to... Yeah, I missed it. Because that's gonna go down in like 2 seconds, I feel like. Why does my stomach hurt? Oh my god, please. I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, I'm not gonna get anything from this. I really chose the wrong job for this. Or it's so clunky to me. I was like, I'd be surprised if I got an elixir. Good luck, boo. Hope you get a gold and the emote. Oh, it's the one we needed before. While you do that, you have the emote? I don't. I've not been so lucky. I don't know if you bought it or if you get it from here. I know you can get it from... Wait, I like this song. Hold on, wait a minute. What did they give me? Battle High. I don't... Did I do something that warranted Battle High? It's over here. Ooh. Okay, I'm still kind of coughing. 57 seconds. I hope I can remember this one. He makes it. He totally makes it. He 1000% makes it. See, he totally makes it. He makes these. I see him. On his bird. I see him on his bird. His shield. Damn, that was a fat shield. That was a fat shield. Oh my god. I never get a shield like that. Like in content, they never give me a shield that fat. Not for anyone. Like what the hell? I gotta like work or something for that. That was a fat shield. Dang. Look at him. Took no damage. Me, I took all the damage. And then I get my little shield. Like what? All right, so she's gonna swipe left and right. Okay, you. Oh, I think that was the only part of that AoE, right? Hope no one was in one of those things. Oh. All right, so it's left to right again, but I think this is where she... So yeah, we start on this side. She's gonna go there. We start over here again. On the other side. I went too early. Other side. All right, so I remembered where they are, so I'm not moving unless we need to. Okay, never mind. We're moving at some point. What if I told you I forgot where the seeds landed? Okay, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Maybe maybe I was overthinking it. That's not what I wanted, but okay. think right here is fine. Oh. You know what I should do? I should do that thing where I put it on a tank that is not my tank. So I can farm my stacks off of them. Yes, this is one of the new CEs. This is also part of one of the missions. I forgot which way it was. Okay. Start over here first then. Yeah, bosses are new, but the areas are very... What you would notice with some of them is it's very... Oh my god, so many people get caught in that. They're very much inspired by Mach, like the city of Mach and Scala. So it's a lot of it is really just pretty much that. Yeah, this is North Horn. They just released it. The final step for the relic as well is not bad. They gave you a whole world tour of Dawntrail. They said you have to go through every area, kill 4 enemies, and then you have to do 5 fates. But you also have to go through every dungeon from base game, the expert dungeons, trials, and raids. You still need tomes. Technically, you still need tomes because there is if you already have some of your weapons at like the last step before this one, they still need like that little stone to get to the final step. So you do it for your first weapon. You do this grind for your first weapon, and then after that, you're fine. You just get tomes to get the other ones to Ecliptic or Ecliptum, something like that. I forgot the word. And then you just adjust your stats for the final one. Yeah, New Belgium area. It's really nice. It's really pretty, in my opinion. All right, clean out my ears. Yeah, it's really nice. Sorry, it's like I choked on something. Wait, how did you get all of them in one go? Perish? Like all of them just refreshed in one go. How did you do that? What class? What job is doing that? That freelancer? Wait, that's on... Oh, it is on freelancer. Oh. Who would have thunk? So I need to get freelancer up to that. I see. I'm only level 9. Only level 9. Sadness. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's really nice though. It's a lot of the same from the last area. But they have this weird thing with pots for scaling. If the instance is new, they downscale pots so that I guess it's easier to kill. But if your instance ends up filling up, your new one ends up filling up really fast, then it dies in like 2 seconds and you don't get anything from it. Mostly you don't get anything from it, and it kind of sucks. Yeah, it's scaled for like one person. Meaning like your instant fills up and you're like, all right, it's time for pots, and then it dies in like 5 seconds and you're like, well shit, well dang, I had no chance. Let me drink some water. Also, speaking of Doja, did you see that Doja Cat was playing Final Fantasy 14 one day on YouTube? She like partied at someone's house. I was like, what timeline are we in? That is so cool. Someone helped her with glam. People are like posting about it. Like it blew my mind. She's playing it, but like that, I think it's the first time she's like, is it the first time she streamed it? Promo the next WoW Exodus. Nah, they can stay over there. I still wish with World of Warcraft that they would focus on older content too, in the same way that people focus on pretty much all the content. Like, not people are not spamming the earlier dungeons, but because we have roulettes, the earlier dungeons still pop because they end up getting thrown into the pool of roulettes. Is this the guy with the feet out? The grippers out? Oh no, never mind. It has no grippers out. Yeah, WoW, like Parrish and I were playing WoW and we wanted to do like an earlier dungeon because we wanted to do from retail before Cataclysm, or I guess Cataclysm up. And for you to get that experience, you have to play classic because none of the earlier dungeons pop. Yeah, like it sucks. It sucks if you want to experience the entirety of the story firsthand instead of going through a YouTube video. But surprisingly, the classic WoW stuff, very active. I can say here. Like, a lot of the cities are very active and so forth. Yeah. I was kind of hoping... Oh, I'm not even paying attention to myself. I don't know why I'm healing you, because you're already healed. You healed yourself with White Mage. Oh, I just realized that. Oh, let me get out of that. Almost died there. There's a lot of people dead. Goddamn. There's not someone back here, is there? No. What they need is a separate reward poll for running an older dungeon. That would be dope as well, actually. Yeah. That would be cool. Because I would like to run some of the older dungeons. I would like to experience like older WoW stuff instead of just newer stuff. Because I seem to focus more on like the last 2 or 3 expansions that came out for it. And then that's it. Like retail is built just for in-game rating, mythic or whatever, and that's it. So I wish they would do something like that. Sit back here. Sit back here. Can't sit back here anymore after this one. Like, where is that? This is really making me look around. Yay, yippee, level 3. What is this? Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Okay. B-turn. Yeah, it would be really nice if WoW did a bunch of stuff for their older content and retail, so that I guess the reason they don't is because they have classic, so people who really want the classic experience can get the classic experience from that, but it's not for every expansion yet. Like I think what right now it's up to Burning Crusade. Hold on, let me pull up Battle.net really quick. If I look at WoW right now classic, so yeah, it's WoW Classic, then Burning Crusade Anniversary, then Mists of Pandaria. I think everyone who wants to experience like the story from the beginning, I think are going to Classic. Or they just like the aspects of Classic more over retail. That's what I think at least. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong on that one. Is there a thing up? No. That's the wrong one. Oh, I've been cured. I'm no longer sick. I could talk about like all the things I wish WoW would do, but it's really up to them to really implement all that stuff. I don't think their audience is asking for a bunch of older content to be put at the forefront when they practically have what they want with the game anyways, right? Which is they're able to raid, they're able to do their Mystic Plus, etc. So he's such a model. I got distracted. I got really distracted. But yeah, it would be really nice if they focused on the other stuff instead of all the end game newer stuff. But I do like how accessible it is for me to have different characters, since, you know, unlike 14, they don't allow you to have different classes on one character. So that was something to get used to, creating new characters for new jobs or new classes. The specialization system is pretty cool. Specking to how you want to play is, I think, really nice. I'm sure it's something that they brought over from Diablo. So it's like, oh, you know what I should play? A Scholar. It's funny. Very. What else do I like about WoW? I know they started picking up cutscenes at a certain point, but I do like a lot of their cinematics. I think one thing that Blizzard has always done really well are cinematics for their game, just like Riot with League of Legends. I say that about League of Legends all the time. I don't personally want to play League of Legends, but I think the cinematics they do for League are top tier. What else with WoW? Their transmog system is really nice, and their housing system is really nice. The housing systems, yeah, some of their lore is also really cool. Did my medicine come out? No. So yeah, to experience stuff like that in WoW is nice. So yeah, my biggest, probably my only complaint. I'm not gonna tell them to upgrade graphics because that's very unique to them, and I don't want them to lose their own identity. But the focus on older content would be nice, like from the player base and from them. Hey, I know that name that's in the stage chat. That's wild. Wow, you took like no damage, or you did. And I just never saw it because you have white mage. Has an ignore damage button. You know what? That's so true. That's so... I wish I had that. I'll get to that eventually. But I wanted to get Dancer up there mastered so that I can have that one buff. This piece of poop, I swear. You know what? I keep forgetting I have this. I mean, do that again. Why'd I do that again? I don't play Scholar that often, even though technically Scholar was my first job I played as a healer. So I find it funny that now I have not played it as much as I did when I first started healing. I think I just like Sage more, honestly. I think Sage is just really cool. See me out here trying to slide cast while doing that? I was trying to do that before I got that off, but that doesn't really happen. You know what? Here, have this. Oh, why do I feel like I need to lay down? Nice. That's big cooldown right there. I wonder which one it's gonna be. Is it gonna be the one where we go back and forth? I think it is. I don't know if I just... Oh, she's back. Oh, God bless it, went that way. don't think that reached you. No, it didn't. I don't think that reached you. Yippee, we did it. We made it out alive. This is where I should have gotten Battle High, because I don't think I got touched once during that, outside of the AoEs that are unavoidable. I don't think I failed a mechanic at all. Also, I think tower's up. Yeah, tower's up. If you wanted to do tower, would you have to like leave party for that? Oh, how long till pots again? You could do it solo, but you wanna wait till I get there? Damn, what is this? Oh, it's that one. It's this one. It's the one that people try to avoid the most. This one is wild. For absolutely no reason. Is it almost dead? It's dead. Never mind. Yay! $1 million. Jeez. Okay. Looking for group tower. Looking for group. My voice cracks easily now. Bless the 12. Do you think there's a silver over here? I can say this because it's the most wholesome thing and it's the most random thing that Parrish and I do, but it always ends up being such a great time. There are moments where Parrish and I will be talking and then he'll start nerding out like about Gaga or like the deep cuts and so forth. For instance, we went through a night where we randomly just went to a jam session with all of Britney Spears' past music. Like all of her stuff. Nothing was left untouched. It was so funny, but it was so good. It like, these are the moments I live for. Was there one that was in here? Okay, it's not in here. All right, let's go to the CE. What's that? Over here. I stole a box of Kleenex for my mom because I guess pots after this, right? Parrish, you're better at tracking this stuff than I am at the moment. How'd I go that way? I'm so goofy. Oh, it's 22 minutes. God damn. Jesus. Oh my god, look at you and your chocobo. Oh my god. It's so cute. I like how you're in this very casual fit and then I'm in this like full on oh, it is so fancy. Oh my god, and the basket on the back. Oh my god, that's so cute. Wait, no, this is actually cute. I like it. I want to sit in the basket though. But yeah, we went on a whole like Britney Spears like listening like jam session. We did the same with Jenny. We did the same with Lady Gaga and all of her like B-sides and deep cuts. We watched like 2 versions of God, what was that one song she did but like someone else did better? Yeah, we also did some Madonna. I like how it first started. It was like songs that Lady Gaga wrote for herself, but she gave to other artists. I think that was like the first jam session, like deep dive like that we did. Or was it Jenny? No. Like in terms of deep dives, that was, I think, the first one. Oh, the other ones were just like, oh my God, I just want to listen to Jenny. You, come. Or I want to listen to this person. Come. It was so fun. It was so fun. You know what I just realized? I am such an idiot. I went to put the sage stuff on him and I was like cardio on him and I was like, wait a minute. Ah! They're both going the same way, right? When it gets to like the 3 ones, I'll start using expedience. Oh! Does he do it to both sides or just one? Oh, he does it to both sides. Okay. How did I get hit? What? That made no sense. In my humble opinion, that made no sense. Ooh. Why'd I go to that one instead of this one? After this, I'm gonna have to BRB. Like, use the bathroom. Oh, speaking of, I'm surprised I survived that. Okay, that was on me because I was on the wrong side. It's like, not Halone. I'm thinking of Thalia right now. I'm thinking of Thalia right now. Trying to remember. Hello? Did not want me. to be successful in my endeavors. I'm fucked. Kinda. A lot of people just... Oh, I'm screwed. I'm definitely screwed here. No. I have 4. Jesus. Focus target. There we go. I like how if this were an extreme or something like that, it would be me trying to figure out the speed in which mechanics go and then trying to adapt to that. I keep forgetting I have chain stratagem. I keep forgetting. Yippee! We did it. All right, I have to use the bathroom. So I'm gonna return and then I'm gonna BRB. Hopefully it's not too long because I know I get kicked if I'm AFK too long in North Horn. So hang tight, everybody. I will be right back. So I decided I was going to, oh my god, I was gonna run over to this CE while I came back because I was like, oh boy. Oh wait, he's not here. Oh. Wait, pots. I'm so silly. Nar. All right, well, I'm keeping myself alive during this whole thing then. My bad. I saw CE pop and I was like, oh shit. I don't know if you made it over there or not. I'm so sorry. I was just panicking. There are two people who are frozen in time. Oh boy. Oh my god, not Judas coming on. I think it depends on where it goes. If there's two in the same spot. Or whatever it hits. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad because I thought you went in already and I just rushed. I was like, not this song coming on right now. Good song, by the way. Oh, you can't go in the center. Big Sag. Oh, of course you would go right there. You piece of poop. Do ah, do the ah ah. Do the ah ah. I can't do that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me, chat. You won't, but please forgive me. I'm doing this only for myself. I knew it's gonna get caught in that. Nice. Wow, what a song to come on while I'm in the middle of this. Also, I should turn it down a little bit. I'm like, it is blasting. I don't know how it sounds to y'all, but it is blasting. It is blasting my finger holes. Oh, I die. Well, you know what? I deserve that. I deserve that. Girl, turn that up. Oh, you don't want to hear me. Okay, my bad. Your wish is my command. Ooh. What, bitch? You went back that way? Oh my god. This heifer, I swear. I think we're safe here. Yeah. I'm squeezing my butt cheeks together. Hey, brother. There's your butt cheeks squeezing. Give you speed. Jesus Christ, I clicked that about 40 times. Why am I AoE healing? I'm the only person here. Give me that protraction. Yippee! We win the day. Yippee. It's only 4 for Dancer, right? Yeah, it's only 4. I'm so sorry. I feel bad. Okay, now I turn it down. Is this new Ariana? It is. It's new Ariana. Sorry about that. That's my bad. That was truly my bad. I was like, CE, gotta go. Gotta jet. A lot of Ariana. We're at 37. Is there a... Oh, there's pots here. That's right. Gunbreaker. Where are you? Where are you, Gunbreaker? Where are you? Actually, you know what? Guts, do you have it? I look so sassy. Why do I look so sassy? Play bunny hop? No. No. Bunny hop, 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 hop. Hop on that. No, no, no. Oh no. We all know that he wants to look downward. I'm just saying. Anyway. So I've been hearing mixed reviews. Oh, I'm sorry. He put his chest in the camera. Here you go. I keep hearing mixed reviews on the new album. So I was going to personally listen to it, but with me starting one song and then letting it play out for the rest of this stuff, I'm getting the new album anyways, I guess. I don't know if I'm getting it in full, but I'm getting it. Actually, I can take this down. I can love Northhorn. We are surely to get pots for this time, right? Right, surely. Surely. You know what? Here, have this. The thing I've noticed with these things is if you're not here at the beginning, you luck out so badly. Like you're out of luck. Or you luck out really badly if you do get one. I like how the pots keep talking to us. Like, are you even listening to us? Are you even listening? Give me that elixir. Sir. Sir. Give me that elixir. They're down by at night. But they're down by it for elixirs. Southeast. That feels like it's gonna be like in this area, but it could just be starting there. I don't know why I'm afraid to go in front of these enemies. It's like the level 40 enemies I should be afraid of. Because they could just one-shot me. They could just be like, hey friend, I heard you like death. So we put some death in your death so you can die while you die. Or something like that. I don't know. It's like the Gold Saucer coming to 14 soon. From Final Fantasy VII Remake. Rebirth. I actually know. I think it's Rebirth's Gold Saucer. Far southeast. Let's see if I can remember all of these pot spawns. Like chest spawns. Is it like down here? Hold on. East. This way. I think it's in this little crevice over here. What if it's a gold? Does it still say east? Something to the east. Hold on. Far southeast. Oh, it's in this building. Okay. Hello, Mr. Man. I think it's like right around here. Oh, it's silver. This game hates me. This game hates me. Just say you hate me. Literally just say you hate me. Silver with nothing. I mean, I'll take the currency, I guess. But like everyone else getting the emotes and all that other stuff, and I'm just getting nothing. I guess when I get Fork Tower, I can just... How much do you get for one run? Like 40 of that stuff? Because the emote is 40 of the currency from Fork. That might just be the first thing I get. $14 per run, so... like 4 runs? At most. Yippee! I don't know where chests are right now. I'm just going around for chests until I see another CE. I'm pillaging, plundering. I'm plundering the booty. What was that? Oh, wait. Oh, that's right. There was another CE that was up. It's Kirby. It's Kirby from Pandemonium. Look, it's Kirby. Look at him. Look at him go. I think I just changed all my healer stuff. Oh, no, I didn't. Wait, huh? Oh, yeah, I did get that. I did get that. Wait, where are you? Where you're dying? Where are you? You are dying somewhere in America. Not in America. You're dying somewhere. Stop dying. No death. And don't even think about dying. You're too bloody useful. Said 2014. Wait, was that 2014? When did Realm Reborn win? Ow. I heard today. I guess I still feel. I don't know what my playlist has been. It's not even a playlist. I don't know what this continuation of music has been, but I'm happy I let it keep going because I heard so much stuff I've never listened to. I'm pretty sure. Wow. Where's that silver chest? There needs to be a silver chest nearby. Wait, normally there's a silver chest somewhere over here. I wonder if it's over here or not. Is this the one I'm thinking of? Okay, I know there's one there, but there's one in the woods somewhere sometime. Ah, see? There it is. I got dye and a second final fixation thingy. I'm gonna go to this other one that's over here. I don't know if it's gonna be there though. Yeah, I just got the one that's in the woods that I remembered. We're just kind of finding stuff until I'm just waiting for, you know, mount to drop. Not mount, you know what I mean. Oh, these are fine. Going in the other way is death. So, like, who are you? Why are you there? I thought that was a silver right there. Ooh. I don't see a chest here. Sadness. I'm leaving here. I'm leaving here. Oh, they show right there. Oh, y'all all are dangerous. Go away. Leave me alone. Man, you're in their territory. Why are you telling them to leave you alone? Leave me alone. Did they even go that far? Oh, it's outside. Isn't that where the... Isn't that where I went to earlier? Yeah. There's not a chest there. Oh, where's the other one? That one. Is there one closer to me? Mark. Nope. Is this swine? Oh no, it's guy. Never mind. I know it's a nothing burger. I sent Parrish the stuff for Anata, which is the like GTA open world exploration type game that hasn't had like any updates or anything like that in the past, I don't know, since its announcement. And someone was just like theorizing that it could be a 2027 release or something like that. Or that they could just forego like not doing a beta and just do a full release, surprise release with GTA 6. I kind of hope they do. I want to see how they compete. I think it'll be bad, but like I want to see how they compete. I really do. Two games that are kind of the same, but one has a gacha and the other doesn't. Oh wow, a CE. Wow, we're heading towards it. Are you guys enjoying the music, by the way? Let me know. Are you enjoying the vibes? I don't think there's a silver here. I don't think there's a silver here. There's not a silver here. I'm gonna be sad. Yeah. There's no silver. I'm very sad now. I'm gonna go cry. Talk about our Lord and Savior, Prime Gaming. We have time. I'm just here like, we got time. Oh yeah, there's one on the cliffside. Or should be one on the cliffside. All the way over here. That might be a little far though. Yeah, that might be a little far from where we're going. I'll go to CE. I don't think I make it back in time, that's why. Bow, 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 bow. There's so many songs that I need to... Oh my god, Slater was on and I didn't get a chance to bop my Baducci. I'm just waiting for Crank It to come on. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. It's gonna come. It's gonna be great. Oh my goodness. He went. He went to the far reaches of dangerousness. 30 seconds. I was like, you didn't die, did you? Okay, no, he hasn't. I had to look up at the health bar. He's coming. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, does he make it in time? I ain't making this. No. The way I tried to get out of the circle. The way I tried to get out of the circle. Favorite pop. Oh well. I forgot about that. Yay! Avoided. Oh, sorry, I got that one. I just start sniping. Discordance. What is this, Dead by Daylight? What is this? I like how I'm healing like there's two people here. Help. Ooh, okay. I felt a cough coming on just now. Damn, that's a big old shield. Ah! Not me healing them like I'm gonna, you know, I'm goofy. I'm very much goofy. Oh. That person is dead. Never mind. Oh my goodness. All these people are so fast to do the res thing, and I'm just in here vibing in the club. Yeah, but it's like, it feels like it's literally 1 second after they die. Like, they're just fast. Probably. Probably. I wouldn't put it past them because they want that achievement so bad. They want it so bad. What do you get with that achievement? Do you get anything for that achievement outside of just having it? A title? I'm judging them. How do you get the Shadow Deep of the map? Oh yeah, there's a back rooms of the map. There's a back rooms. Phantom Salvation. That's actually a cool title, but I'm not doing, you know, what they're doing to get it. If they're doing that, that is. I could get both of these right now. Is this for Samurai? I think it's for Samurai. So you need 3 of those to upgrade your armor, right? For it to be like a +1? I think I'm gonna just get the last one I need. And then... Is it this one? No, I need to trade something anyways. Oh, you can trade those in? That's crazy. That's crazy. You can trade those in. I was wondering what happened to my first one. I didn't think that the other one... Oh, how long till next hunt? I know that's such a irritating question now. That's such an irritating question to ask. 6 minutes north. North is... Okay, I can go up there. Wait, this is south. Never mind. I just want to come over here for what you call it. Where's my mount? Oh my god, I went past the page with my mount in it. Let me just put on my bar. Oh, you're not dangerous. You're harmless. Now these half us up here, they're dangerous. Can you mark north for me? Before I forget again and go to the wrong one like last time. My brain absolutely sucks right now. Is that silver? Thank you, Pookie. I love materia. Love materia and risking my life for materia. I love it. Rah! Anyways. There's a lot of Lady Gaga on, and I'm not mad at it. I feel like I've heard more Lady Gaga today than I have on any other occasion. I'm gonna sit at Putz as a Dark Knight 2. Dark Knight. I am the one who rattles the cages. Where is she? I can't do it full force. I might cough. Lady Gaga really has a lot of bops. That's what I've learned. Like a lot more than anything I've heard from her. You know that Daisy Bop like gif for Daisy dancing? That's me right now. That's me right now. Sorry, I just can't stop looking at him. Look at that smile. I just want to pinch those cheeks. Hold on. Oh, well, okay. Sorry, you can't see that chat. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I heard Flow earlier. They're not bad. I like them so far. Everyone. Baby, they're staring. I just imagine that aura girl right here is like, what the hell are they doing? And then this Highlander lady is just looking on like, what the hell? Oh my god. Oh my god. We're just having a conversation. That's all. Oh man. Oh, that's so funny. Oh. Now he throwing it back. Oh my god, I can't believe it. I'm totally gonna knock out at some point after stream. I feel it in my bones. The cough medicine? The cough medicine alone can cause drowsiness, and I'm like, I bet you $1 million. No, I don't. I don't have that. I was like, bitch, where? Damn, we decimated that group of beings. God damn. I didn't mean to do that, but you know, we ball. Return my elixir. was gonna say, did I not get it this time? I was gonna be so mad. All right, chat. Ah, what the fuck? Let him on fire like this Bob. No, I know. I am. Okay. You know what? Return. As Beatrice says, livid! Oh my god, no. Oh my god, hold on. Vanilla did GTA RP. I don't know if many people watch Vanilla. But we were watching it one night. She did some GTA RP. And it wasn't like it wasn't like a private server like most of the streamers have or are on. Well, I think it was like a public RP server. And she met like so many people. But there's this one Valley girl that they met that went to a casino looking for the guy they had a date with. And then you guys are mean girls and boy. It was so funny. And then she heard them talking about her. So she marches back and they're like, oh, she's coming back. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, I like that. It's so funny. She's got something to work with the server. Nice. Oh my god, I can't wait to see what she does with a like a private server with like actual stories. That's gonna be so fun. That's gonna be so fun to watch. I salute everyone who does GTA RP, really. Like, that's a lot of commitment. Fine, I'll leave. Oh, wait, I forgot I can't get into cars. I'll run. Fine, I'll walk. And you just see her dash off into the distance. Please just play it. Hold on. Let me find it. It is so funny. I cannot. I'll use this tab that I have, what you call it on. It's my Roman Empire. The Hood early gameplay today from Tim the Tapman. That's wild. I don't even want to ask when the next pots are because someone purposely brought a enemy over there to kill pots. I'm so mad at that. I'm angry. They can eat my ass, bro. I'm so angry about that. No, you don't sound very angry. That's because I'm trying not to cough. But trust me, I am livid. Yeah, you can. Come here. I'll arch my back. Anyways. Norm, why are you making random noises? Oh. I've had too much time. I've been off for 2 days. My normal schedule. Is that a chest? Oh, it's not. sadness. Livid. You know what? I want that as a soundboard. Because I will never truly reach the peak that Beatrice reached for that. What am I doing? I'm looking for it right now. Is it the one from 13 days ago? Oh, wait, no. You know what? Why am I doing that when I can just do Beatrice? BTARP. Oh my god, where is it? It is so funny. She got arrested? At some point. Alright, we'll look at it later. I'll look for it later. After this one. I already know what the next one's gonna be, so I'm just gonna go out. All right, so that's that. So we're going right here, and then we're going to the right. Oh yeah, that's right. You did post it on B-Sky. Oh, someone died. I have to go back to Blue Sky and get it. Well, people bring their stuff all the way over here. Finally, I can get a res. Oh, it's this thing. The Deathly Roulette begins. The cat boy joined me in that one spot. All right, this is where they switch. So I don't know which is going to be the first one. Although that's the first one. I think it switches to... Oh, they all switch. But once I actually showed it in advance. I don't think this has that same mechanic as the other ones where it's like swipe once this way and then the other. If I remember. I get hit by that? Okay. How we doing today? Y'all doing okay? Y'all feeling good? Does anyone need to be like top blocked or anything? You can tell me. I'm trying to think if this is like the only two switch? No, all of this switch. Where do you go though? I wonder if someone went the wrong way just now. That'd be so funny. Because I've definitely gone the wrong way. I thought that Lalafell was sitting down. Oh, that guy's dead. Oh, never mind. Someone got him. I like that pattern better than the other one. Because I guess I'm used to doing that pattern more. So it feels easier to do than... Ah, so close. So close. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna go to Blue Sky real quick so I can get it from your Blue Sky. Sorry, I saw comments on the post earlier. Oh, here it is. I found it. I found it. It's a TikTok. It's like favorite clips from GTRP. Maybe later. Okay, hold on. We are watching this. And I'm gonna keep myself from being booted out of the game. All right. Yeah, I'm using Firefox now. Sorry, Lady Gaga. Wait, is it muted?
No, we haven't seen any guys here besides this guy right here.
Really upsetting. I was talking to this guy on Spark, and he told me to meet him here.
Well, the casino's big. Don't give up hope yet, girl.
Really?
Girl, I've been waiting like an hour.
Then maybe.
Girl, he still you up.
Yeah, don't even worry about him, honestly.
Yeah,
How do
don't
I
worry
pick up my
about him.
cart? Okay, so I folded.
That's not funny.
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
we're not laughing like at you. We're just laughing like... just laughing. It's like life is good, you know?
Yeah, life
Wait,
is
did I
good.
lose?
Yeah, honestly, F this, because I don't know how to play 3-card
Okay.
poker.
Girl, I'm not laughing.
You're
at you.
too good for him. No, you're too good for him. We're not laughing at you. You're too good for him.
You guys are mean girls and boy.
No, wait, not. Hey, boy.
And boy.
No, girl, stop.
Wait, do we follow her?
If anything, we have to tell her, like, okay,
Oh, she's coming. She's coming.
Yeah, so like, yeah,
yeah.
you know.
Are you guys talking about me over here?
No, why would we be talking
No.
about you?
I could hear you from the hallway. I was right there.
Okay, no, we were
Okay,
not.
wait.
We were not talking about you.
Livid.
Like, I met a lot of guys
He
in
had
prison.
like
so-
brown hair. He was light skin. Was wearing a shirt that says "I love anime girls," and I like love anime.
Okay,
Oh
you
my
guys had stuff in
goodness.
common.
I be honest with you,
Yeah.
And yeah, girl,
it was me.
Oh, my.
that was you.
So
Are
I
you fucking
didn't think it would
serious?
come to this.
Come on, Beatrice.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Let's go. Oh.
Oh.
Wait. it's-
Oh,
wait,
wait,
so
hold
you-
on. Give her a second.
Stop moving over.
Are you okay?
I can't get in. It keeps kicking me out.
Oh my goodness.
It's okay, I'll run.
Somebody carry her.
It's okay, I'll
You're on the
run.
other side, boo.
Oh,
Beatrice, I just
okay.
want you to know that you're my number one girl and I always love you. Okay?
Don't say that
Number
around
one.
Jill. She's gonna get jealous.
Gail. My name is Gail.
My name is Gail.
Yes.
Yeah, Gail.
Girls Club. Season 2.
That
Yo,
girl's club.
Just either delete it, or
Hold on, because I need to. Excuse you.
Oh, yeah, I got her.
Why the fuck are you beating my ass, girl? Oh,
Oh.
I literally did nothing to her.
listen.
She was
Listen.
fighting.
Ouch. That's okay.
What did I ever do to you, girl? Ow.
Are you rolling with us, or are you a
Yo, for
solo
real.
traveler?
No, she could be solo. She's not.
It was
no,
me.
No.
What? So
was
you
me, I'm
don't
sorry,
want me
I
to hang
catfished
out
you.
with you girls?
I just don't like you in general.
I was trying to pick up my hat.
Okay,
I'll just
when
leave.
it's happier, I'll leave. And oh, I forgot I can't get in cars. I'll just run.
You can walk. Bye.
I'll just run.
Wow.
Oh, what an exit.
We
Copying me.
thought.
Wait, what's going on?
Wait, are y'all talking about me?
I
Yeah,
think-
she's saying you're trying, or yeah, you're trying to be
Oh
her.
my god. Hey,
Are you
girl. Oh,
serious?
wait, no, we were talking about a different Gale.
Oh, okay. Well, we're about to head over to this girl's crib, so we just wanted to see like what y'all wanted to do. If y'all were
We
coming
were
or going.
literally talking
Yeah,
different one, girl. Like, I love you. Overstimulated. Get out of here, girl.
Help me!
Oh my god, she's coming. Oh my god, she's coming.
I thought it was just like somewhere chill we could just like sleep.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
I
That's
know.
what I
Okay,
thought.
it's Beatrice.
overstanding.
I thought it was
I'm
like
fucking leave this party. I'm
I just
scared.
I know I just
I'm
wanted to.
scared.
I want to fucking leave this party. I'm
Oh, you
scared.
okay?
You know, I'm like stuck in the car. Ow, ow,
I'm stuck in the car.
Yeah, yeah, come on.
Wait, are you at the CE by the way?
Okay.
Are you fucking serious, driver? I forgot your name.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Are you serious,
ran me over?
driver?
I'm never going to a party ever
Yeah, no,
again.
that was so weird.
Hey, have you guys seen a guy here? I was supposed to have a date.
No, we have
No,
not.
we haven't
I'm
seen
coming.
any guys here besides this
That's
guy
like
right here.
really
What?
upsetting. I was talking to this guy on Spark, and
Oh my god, that was so funny. I loved it. Girl, I've been waiting like an hour. I cannot do that voice. I cannot. Whoever it was, they did like, they were A+. They were so good. They were so entertaining. We were so invested in the plot through that entire thing. Oh, it's your favorite person. This is your You love Elm. Wait, does he have abs? Oh, he does. How come he can get abs but we can't? Like, what is this? This is racism. I'm tired of these monsters getting abs and stuff and we can't. What do you mean? can give them abs, but not me. What the hell? I work out. 1 second, I gotta do that because I'm gonna die. Ah, skinny. Turn the music back on. It was too quiet. Oh my god, I forgot there. It's like one big ass one right there. That doesn't rotate, right? No. No, it just sends out these annoying things. Where are you going? Oh, that's foul. That's actually foul. I am sick. Oh, girl. Here you go. Have that. That's a lot going on right there, bro. Stop that. That person died. Damn. I feel so bad for them. What in the world of darkness? Ah! Okay, you didn't need it. You're better. You're built different. I did that just in time too. I'm done. Okay, that's rude. Okay, rude head off. Like, what's that all about? That's why your feet stink. Oh! Okay. They heard me talking shit. They said no. Okay, I didn't do it that time, and I'm so sorry. Mostly to myself because she hit the button. Oh, it's gonna be over here then. Okay, chat. Was I muted that whole time? I hope I wasn't. Okay. We are solo for now. I'm hoping an critical engagement didn't pop. Oh, it did. I literally said, do not let a CE pop while I was away, and it did. I'm gonna cry now. I'm gonna cry now. I'm gonna cry. Hope you all have been enjoying the day so far on stream. This looks like someone I know. Oh, they're Bunny Boy. Never mind. I don't know them. That's my purse. I don't know you. I can't remember. The last timer for so I'm gonna rely on now you get to see me in the tank roll. Oh my god, crazy. Oh, I messed up. No. The dream is over. Yippee. That is not the gun blade that I have for this one. Oh, I have 9 minutes left on all of those. Last one was over there, so the other one would be up here, right? The next one would be over here, right? Right. I check to see if people are over there or not. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna do a big check. Yeah, the last one is the one where my pot got exploded by some like butthole who came by with like an ad AoE that was the size of Uranus. Sorry, Uranus. I was trying to say it the right way, and then I like fumbled the bag. Are people over here? No. Okay. Lightning is fake. Eye to eyes going on. We could go do that and hope we make it there in time. I don't think we are. Because it is at 44%. I think most of the people are in the CE at the moment. Yeah, and they're at like 80 something. Maybe we make it. Maybe we don't. It would be nice if we did make it. Ooh. I can't believe I actually got this mount like the first. I've had this mount for so long. Like this has been the mount where Nah, we don't make it. Never mind. I'm gonna go back. Is there something over here happening? Oh wait, is that the current? I think that's the current one going on. Nope. Still no silver. True sadness. True sadness. There's been no bigger sadness than the sadness I feel when I don't get. Did I go past the spot where it is? No, it's coming up. I like I'm just staying around this area. Oh, there's a fate over here anyways. So we can go do this fate. It was actually really nice to do some OC with Pookie. We've been on it 2 different times lately. So it was really fun. He's been able to chill though and do Fork Tower, which I want to do. I went the wrong way, I feel like. Okay, maybe not. You're not gonna attack me, right? Alright, cool. I'm happy we agreed to not attack. Oh. Someone brought a friend with a. All right, they're dead. That's cool. Yippee. Yeah, we'll see how things go tomorrow. I've been kind of streaming off of, I won't say instinct, but more like, ooh, you know what? There's probably a way to track this. Hold on. I'm gonna see if there's a way to track it. Give me a second. Ah, there isn't a call tracker. There is. Crazy. The one is 60. Oh, you have to set the. Which was the other one? Was it north or south? That popped earlier. It was south, right? Or no? I need to. I have to go back. I want to go back to where he said. So 18 minutes, I guess. Yeah. Having to put that in manually sucks. Oh, I was not paying attention. Oop. I wish there was a better tracker. Is there a better tracker? Oh, I'm not gonna catch it. Oop. Wow, 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 wow. Too bad. That's behind. Oop, don't want that. The next one's gonna be like in front. No, it's behind. Yippee! We did it. We saved Crimus. We saved Crimus. I put return. Help. That's not a word. That's not a thing. Ba, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Um, sorry. Oh, this is actually really cool. It shows you like everything. Did I not? Um, no one has extra pots in a while. That kind of sucks. If I were better at tracking this stuff, oh, that's too late too. Mm, it might be up after this, right? I need redemption after that last one. I sincerely need the, because that was atrocious. That was absolutely atrocious what happened there. Livid. should kill one of these guys. That's how I feel. Where could another one spawn? This one all the way over there. Ah! I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? I find it kind of funny, some of the memes that have come out of the most like random things. Oh my god, we're so good. Who would have done it better? Not me. Oh, I just got a headache. Well, you know what? It was bound to happen again. It's definitely bound to happen again. Normally there's a chest around here too, but I think you have to go up there for it. I don't wanna. In the words of a friend of mine. Why'd I do it twice? Oh my god. I didn't even realize it went to me. And it's dead. Just like that. Yippee. Oh yeah, I didn't do my buffs. I was like, I'm so worried about the pots timing that I forgot about the buff. So that I can level my my job faster. Like I probably would have been done with Dancer right there. I would have been done. I wish I had of course my thumb behind does that. Can anyone res a poor bunny? Oh no, they died. I keep checking back to the area because I want it badly. Badly. Yeah, I forgot I was gonna take aggro there. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot I was gonna take aggro. I didn't know there was not another tank there actually. So checks out. I have 15 minutes left in this instance. That's how long we've been in here. We've been in here for that long. Think about that for a moment, chat. We've been in here for a really long time. For a really long time. Crazy. I'm gonna go hang out over here. Well, we didn't get to 40, but we're close. We are close. And that's the thing that matters the most. Is that we're close. We just need 2 levels. 2 knowledge levels, and then we're good. This is plain and simple as that. Let me see who is on currently. Why won't this come up? Oh. Maybe I should leave the instance first, huh? My time is almost up anyways, so I'll do this while I'm looking for someone to raid. Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Zanzuit. 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 I wonder if we're still in the party as soon as I get out. Oh, we are. I was like, there's no way, right? He's offline. Yeah. He went to bed. Red one. Gaga. Oh, I saw Lucian is on. So let's send it to Lucian, who's playing Dead by Daylight. I think Lights Out mode is on right now on DBD. He's playing with a twink. He would say that himself. I am playing with a twink. Actually, no, he's not this. Oh, or is it Friday? It might be Friday. Damn, he just got murdered. I will see y'all tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Maybe not North Horn stuff, but I might do Rivals, or I might do Once Human again. Might do Once Human again, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what the vibes are tomorrow. I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Go say hi to Lucian. Give them all the love. I will see y'all tomorrow. As always, take care of yourselves, each other. Most support your friends and family. Have a good rest of your time zones. Bye. Mwah.